We were lucky to arrive in San Francisco just in time to catch the inaugural journey of the Transcontinental Express, which would take us to New York in 8 days, with only a handful of stops along the way. Monsieur Fogg, unfortunately, was not feeling lucky, having eaten some rather speculative oysters in the afternoon when away from my watchful eye. Oh no. I was most solicitous and brought my master cool cloths and week's sugar tea till he pronounced that he felt much recovered. Okay, let's converse a bit. Talk about Salt Lake. Salt Lake City to Omaha. Let's talk Chicago. Do I have any idea who your father is? No. You will. Okay. That was ominous. Chicago to Washington. Unlikely. Chicago to Duluth. I have to go Darlington. Talk more about Chicago. Atlanta. Atlanta to New York. New York to... Wait, there's no way from New York and onwards? Oh dear. Washington? Washington to... Dakar. I'm trying to find a way across the Atlantic. Miami? Oh, Duluth is back there. Yeah, we're not gonna go through Winnipeg. We have to stop in Salt Lake City because we have a samurai sword to sell there to make money. Ideally, we want to find a flight. Because flights are quick. We've spent a lot of time on the ground. You know, with very slow going sea ships. And we're starting to notice that now. The first day aboard was enjoyable enough. American trains could clearly not compete with their European counterparts, but it was amusing to see them try. The posters proclaimed Pullman's Palace sleeping cars. And while not palatial, in the slightest, they were at least serviceable. We sipped cool beer as we rattled through a long stretch of desert in the shadow of tall mountains. I attended to Monsieur Fogg and his delicate stomach, which was not entirely better today. Okay. Fine. Converse, see if we can get someone... Oh, never mind. Talk about Salt Lake City. Albuquerque. Albuquerque is a lawless place. There are shootings weekly. Oh dear me. Our fellow passengers were a curious mix of gold and silver prospectors, homesteaders, farmers from all corners of the world. Mormons, missionaries, soldiers, and stiff-necked gentry of various sorts. I gave a young black woman with a deep red bonnet a nod of greeting. Her name was Diana. I am meeting my husband in Cheyenne, she told me. He did construction work in New York, but New York isn't safe anymore. We have enough money to move now. Uh-oh. Why isn't it safe? I queried innocently, having only the broad strokes of American news and history. You did not hear of the draft riots in Europe? She asked, wonderingly. New York has always had Confederate sympathies, and when the Union began drafting New Yorkers, they rioted. They killed and burned black homes. My husband has never felt safe since. But now, we're moving to Cheyenne. She smiled, neatly glowing with happiness. I told her some tales of my adventures, which seemed to amuse her greatly. As the afternoon wore into evening and we arrived into the station town of Ogden, close enough to Salt Lake City. Okay. Market, market, no. It's 5 p.m. Yeah, market, market, market. Market now. Get my katana. Chicago, sounds good. Chicago sounds good. Dusty Road. Washington sounds good. Okay, now we have 2 crates. Now we have to get onwards. We made some excellent sales, yes, but now I have to get to Chicago. Oh no, there's no route to Chicago. Oh no! Leaves at 4 p.m. No. 4 p.m. in 4 days. Burlington is going to be a distraction. We have to go to Omaha then. 4 days. Negotiate. That's all our money. Two days. Do it. So in 2 days we can go to Omaha. That was expensive. And now I have to spend the night. So much for our money. As I sat in the downstairs room of our hotel, looking out across the plains, and enjoying a moment of silence, in this peaceful town, I was approached by a young lady with a wry smile. May I join you? By all means, I answered. She smiled and slid into the seat opposite. I heard you're a traveler. I heard that you're going around the world. We are endeavoring to circumnavigate in 80 days, I told her, or less. Really, she grinned. And how many days have you taken so far? I told her, and she bit her lip. A whole 71 days of traveling, she replied. You must be tiring of it, surely. Not at all, mademoiselle. The journey is invigorating. I'm trying, artist, I'm trying. We're going to complete the journey, but not in time, perhaps. Not at all, mademoiselle, the journey is invigorating, I exclaimed. She sighed with a smile. I'm glad to hear that, monsieur. I myself would love to travel, but I cannot leave the Salt Lake. What my family are doing here, and what they are building, it is too important. It needs every hand and every heart to make it fly. Make it fly. But if all else were different, then why? I would hang on to your coattails like a shot, monsieur, and ask you to show me the shores of Europe. Then you should come. That's the pickup line of the evening. When you're old, then you should come, sure. I insisted. No, monsieur, I should not, she replied, shaking her head. I cannot pretend my desires come above the needs of my people, after all. She added cannily. You hardly follow your own desires, do you, monsieur? I am loyal to my profession. As in a sense am I, she replied. The evening was wearing on. The young lady rose and bid me farewell and bon voyage. I watched her go, feeling suddenly curiously old. In 100 years, I wondered, what would curious historians make of our adventures? Very little, I supposed. Okay. Departure is tomorrow, right? I can go to Albuquerque tonight. By rail cart, but that's not... We paid 2,000 to get to Omaha, so... That's tomorrow, right? Yeah. Wait. Adjusted? Adjusted in how? Do it. Embark now. Let's go. We spent all our money, but at least we saved some time. So much for that katana actually paying off. Yeah, that katana really didn't pay off. Oh well. All our money was blown trying to get there faster. We boarded the Transcontinental Express at Salt Lake City for the long journey eastwards across the continent. Converse with fog. No, there we go, Durant. Omaha to Chicago, right? Chicago to Burlington. Chicago to Atlanta. From Washington, can I go Washington to nowhere? New York. Please tell me some boat rides from New York. No? Ponta Delgada? Oh dear. We're not gonna have the routes. Today a fellow with a painfully trimmed moustache and impeccable suit approached me outside the lavatory. Oh no. I think this could be what... I nodded at him companionably, and his thin lips parted in a contained grin. "I'm Felix Granger," he said. "You are a puzzle." I was utterly flummoxed. "I a puzzle?" I repeated in consternation. "Monsieur, I'm a simple man, whose past is an open book." "Oh no, do tell me how you came to be on the Transcontinental. Thereby hangs a tale, I can tell, good sir." It seemed a probing question, which made me immediately suspicious of his motives. I made some non-committal answer, but he pressed me further. Finally, I confronted him and asked him his business outright. "You are a sharp customer, and no mistake," he grinned. "Though I perceive no harm in you. I'm a Pinkerton agent." Oh, I knew a little of the Pinkertons. They were a detective agency and had been hired by Abraham Lincoln himself during the American Civil War. "What are you doing here?" I asked, fascinated. He looked around before leaving closer to whisper his true purpose. "I'm here because we have heard rumors that the outlaw Jesse James plans to rob this train, so keep your eye out." Oh no! So far we have been derailed by Venetian gondoliers and papal uprisings, by some romance novelists in the Indian Ocean, by Kali cultists in India, by an uprising in Burma. Yeah, the things have been, and of course, you know, the mutiny at the high seas. Now we're gonna have Jesse James to boot. Keep your eye out. Yeah, we're trying. Converse. Yeah, money. Running somewhat low, yes we are. We stopped at Cheyenne, Wyoming, for a few hours in the evening. The Pinkerton agent disembarked to talk with a 6-foot-tall woman who wore the latest slim-trained skirts and a pistol tucked into her waistband. We watched, none the wiser. At luncheon I asked one of the women homesteaders, who informed me that she was Esther Hobart Morris, a justice of the peace, and indeed the first one in America. She sniffed. "Honestly, some women. What's wrong with being a wife and a mother, I ask you?" The Pinkerton agent boarded the train again before the last whistle blew, his face drawn and anxious. Converse again. Yeah, we have to get to Chicago at this point. Chicago is where all the money is right now with our inventory. Chicago to Ponta Delgada. Apologies, I have no idea. He keeps asking about his father. I'm kind of worried about that. Okay. You have to get to Chicago. Well, hopefully we can actually get there. We arrived into Omaha Station without further incident, and the train disappeared without us. Okay, good. So whatever... We have to choose 2 other cities to encounter Jesse James. I know you can, by the way. But you have to be in specific cities. We are in Omaha. Market. It's valuable more in Chicago. Elastic wallet. Sure, let's buy everything. Hammers, rail whistles, cracker biscuits. Oh, damn it! I forgot my Chicago. Oh, it went at 4 p.m. I shouldn't have gone to the market. Can I still explore at least? Yeah, you can explore. So at least I'm gonna get that. The smell of blood filled the streets of Omaha, billowing from the chains of abattoirs and meat houses along the river's edge, then washed their waste out into the waters. You look dapper, remarked an Irish woman, brushing past with a bleeding basket. What do you have in your basket? I asked, somewhat wearily. Dinner, she replied. Tonight, though it's just what I could slip out with the foreman noticing, she shrugged. I'd offer you some, but I don't think you'd trust me. Trust you how, madame? I asked, confused. Oh, madame, she mocked, then giggled, and with that she wandered away up the road, prattling to herself as she went. Okay. Spend the night. We passed an anxious night. With our 80-day deadline looming, every sunset seemed to carry extra weight. With the last few hours of the evening, I helped the kitchen staff to clean, earning £67. Let's plan. Wait. Yeah, let's... Wow, why was this one stopped all of a sudden? Okay, let's negotiate. They're asking for 690 more than we can pay. And the bank doesn't open until... Well, the bank actually opened today. We'll have time. If I can bring money in by morning. I regarded the manager this time around. It will take a few days. On Monday. No, that's too long. So I lost yet another day. Yeah, we won't make the 80 days, unfortunately. That's okay. Another night, and the clock was forever ticking upwards. We ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning £69 in fees and tips. Okay, now we can leave Chicago by Kalesh. Mechanical horse again. It seemed there were no more trains heading east from Omaha for some time, so we were forced to hire an open carriage to carry us as far as Chicago. The ride was somewhat more uncomfortable than a railway, but not altogether that much slower. The road followed a roughly straight route and was kept well clear. Okay, let's converse. Okay, let's talk about Chicago and Washington and New York. Pretty good. We had the carriage to ourselves, but of course my master did little to assist with the passage of time, so I was forced to fidget uselessly for several hours, until finally my master's patience, half a world in the wearing, broke in two. Passepartout, he remarked. You have the capacity to be the most irritating travel companion imaginable. I charge you to sit perfectly still and do nothing. I made the wrong choice there, apparently. Yes, monsieur, of course, I said, and proceeded to sit on my hands like a schoolboy. It was unbearable. Fire seemed to shoot up my legs. The carriage rolled on and we did not speak to each other. Uh-oh, yeah, Fogg didn't like that. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get top marks. On the second day, something truly unprecedented occurred. Passepartout, my master declared. I believe I must apologize. Uh-oh, what now? No, master, it is I who must apologize. Worst Uber ever. Maybe so, TARDIS. Apologize, monsieur, I demanded, truly shocked. Whatever for? You may act as you wish. There is something about this landscape that is most upsetting. I believe it to be the scale. I theorize no civilized man can live in America without losing some of his essential humanity. The open skies and distant horizons are simply too much to bear. Do not concern yourself, Monsieur Fogg. We will soon be in the city. I reassured him. There will be walls and streets. It may yet pass that America has cities, Monsieur Fogg replied, but at present I fear they are largely plots of land that offer little civic comfort. Perhaps New York will be more acceptable. Monsieur Fogg said nothing more on the matter, and the carriage carried us across increasingly boggy land until we began to pass wooden houses scattered about seemingly at random. These were the outskirts of the city of Chicago. We arrived late in the evening. Let's rush to the markets, sell the harmonicas, gloves, the top hat, perfect, sell it, Stetson hat, sell it. Valuable in Washington. Not Ottawa. Ah, no! Oh, fine. Anyways, from here I can only go south to Atlanta. In 4 days! Chicago was a huge bust. Can I go to Duluth now? Chicago was a trap. Yeah, there's no way I can do this. Well, I can fix that at least. In 2 days. The fact that time passes in the cities is kind of annoying. Oh well. Walking the streets of Chicago, it quickly became apparent this was a city in a state of some flux, and in every way imaginable. From the sheer quantity of train lines coming into the city from all directions, to the arrangements of the city blocks themselves. For the blocks, I discovered, were in motion. Walking the busy streets, I was forced to stop more than once to make way for a family home set on rollers. Making its way rapidly down the street towards me. Quite oblivious to traffic signals and the carts and the people in the road, while its occupants calmly ate their dinner at the window as they went. A sign propped on the veranda read, J.S. McIntyre, Esquire House Movers. A man on the sidewalk beside me cursed under his breath. They act like they own the road, he muttered. Are you suggesting this is a common occurrence? I demanded, staring away as the building took a left turn across busy traffic. It is the 7th one of these I've dodged today, the man grumbled. They're supposed to go to Van Buren and thereabouts, but instead they cruise around on those Hickory Springs like so many lords and ladies. But why? I demanded. 'Twas because the mayor wanted the city to be made of stone, so they fitted rollers under the wooden houses to move them out of the way. But you can't just move city folk around like cattle. They got the taste for it, see? People enjoy sunrise on the lake shore, then they go browsing the shops, then go out of the city for the night, all from their living rooms. I thanked the man and made my way carefully across the road not wanting to be set upon by any roaming low-budget hotels. I returned to Monsieur Fogg at our hotel sometime later, but only to find that the city was not tired of toying with me yet. The establishment, which had been normally positioned when I left it, now required a ladder to enter, having been raised several feet into the air by a team of men with hefty jackscrews. More great municipal works, no doubt. Though I was somewhat more surprised when I was stopped on the first rung and charged $5 for entrance. One poked me hard in the chest. "You've just run into Chicago's most notorious work gang," he declared. "We run this town." "Are you going to move the building?" I asked. "Nope," the man replied. "We're going to jack it up another 6 inches for every 10 minutes this miser here doesn't pay his rent." The last words were directed upwards to the open window, and then he turned back to me. "And if you want to go inside, $5. I gave the man £3 without much thought, leaving him a little puzzled as to how best to have the money changed, since the bank had recently disappeared down Main Street in the direction of the lake. It was day 77. We had barely 100 hours remaining to return home. Oh, yeah. We can explore, though. Might as well. I browsed around, my ears open, investigating the various ways in which we might continue. Air travel? No air travel. Market. New York and Atlanta. We might go through those towns. Washington, Havana. Where can I actually go from here? Can I go directly to New York? No, we can only go to Atlanta. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Oh, we can go today. Good. Market. Anything to Atlanta. Washington, Havana. Ottawa. You never know, that might actually help. I'm gonna buy everything because we can actually afford the room. You never know, it might be worth something. Okay, let's depart. Atlanta, let's go.